Hello, good evening, all. Can you hear me and see me? Am I visible and audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are visible. I can hear you also.
Thank you so much for the confirmation. So, let us wait for 2 minutes. Let everyone join. I am the PMRF TA for the course, and today I will be taking online session in which we will be solving numerical problems and some objective kind of questions similar to the ones that you might see in your assignments as well as in your final examination when you are taking the exam for this course. So let's wait for 2 minutes for other learners also to join. Then we will begin shortly. At 6:05 we will start. Since today is the first day, first session, we'll wait for 5 minutes. Okay? Is it fine for all? Okay, thank you. Let's wait for 2 minutes. Let's wait till for 3 more minutes. Then I will start. So let us start. Good evening, all. Myself Shubhi Bansal. I am the PMRF TA for the Systems and Usable Security course. NOC 23, so CS32 is the course code. And today we will be discussing some numericals as well as the concepts, like some questions on the concepts that you have covered in the video lectures so far. So, my screen, just a second. I will present my screen, okay? So similar kind of questions you will be seeing in the assignments that are given to you every week based on the video lectures, as well as these kind of objective questions we will be you might see when you are taking the exam for this course at the end. So my screen is visible to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Great. Let us start. So I'll be displaying the questions one by one, and you can take like a minute or two to solve, and then I will be discussing solution for every question as well. So first question is visible to you. I shall read it out first. So given a file F, it has Aadhaar card details of all the students in a university, and these details are required by examination section when they want to print the grades of the student. So it says, let's assume Aadhaar card numbers, we can verify with the Aadhaar card number whether the person is having a bank account with the bank X. So if the file F is accessed by someone for knowing the details of the bank account and the bank balance, then which of the principles of security it violates? We know that there are three security principles that every good security mechanism should follow. That is CIA principles: confidentiality, integrity, and availability. And based on this statement, when they are accessing the data, so which principle of the security are being violated? So you can take a minute to solve this. Mark your the options that you think are correct, put them in the chat box. We will discuss shortly in like 2 minutes. Let everyone give a try, and don't worry if you're not able to try. I will discuss it, but first I want you to give a try. This is just divination based question, so please go ahead and put your answers in the chat box, whatever you think is correct. And it can be multiple option correct as well as single option correct. I will display the question again. Just a second, people are still joining. Next time onwards, please make sure that you join around 6 or 6:05 at max, because we have to discuss the questions. So visible to all?
Yeah, ma'am, visible.
Yes, please give it a try. It can be single option correct as well as multiple option correct. Put your answers in the chat box, whatever you think is correct. But there should be a reason behind it, why you think it is correct. In the paper, it will not be given to you whether only single option is correct or multiple options. You have to reason out well for every choice. That's why I say whatever you mark, you should have a solid reasoning behind it, why you think it is correct. Please put your answers in the chat box. Please join by 6:05 from next time onwards. We are in the middle of a question. Anybody, any answers? It's a simple question.
Option D, ma'am.
Option B.
D, A, B, C, D.
D. You think all three are being violated?
Yes, ma'am.
Any other?
Option A, confidentiality.
Yes. Okay. Shall I start the discussion or you still need a minute?
You
Please
can
Yeah,
start
please.
the
Geeta, please start.
discussion, ma'am.
Okay, okay. So the correct answer is option A, confidentiality, as someone said. Why? Because see, Aadhaar card, that is a very, you can consider it as a primary key. If you are an Indian resident, then the Aadhaar card number is the sole mechanism to identify the unique individuality of a person, right? So because here this Aadhaar card is linked with the bank account. Can you please mute the mic? I think I can hear my echo. In case you have a question, then you please unmute and ask at that time. So see, Aadhaar card number is very, it can be considered as a primary key. It is used to identify the individuality or uniqueness of an individual. So here, what the question says, Jashanjot Singh, please can you mute the mic? So see, Aadhaar card is very can be considered as a primary key, and here Aadhaar card is linked to the bank account details. So if someone knows the Aadhaar card number, then they also know your bank account details, your account number, and all the password, and what is the amount or the bank balance that you have. Since it is the private data and someone is having access to it, so the data principle that is being violated is confidentiality over here. Because this data should only be known to the owner, the person to which this Aadhaar card number belongs to. No one else should have access to it. Don't think that because of the keyword that is access is written here, and in availability we say that illegitimate access should be avoided. Don't think that because of that you have to take the option C. You have to analyze it correctly. Don't go by the keyword. Try to understand the intuition of the question, what they are trying to ask. So is it clear to all why confidentiality?
Yes, ma'am. Got it, ma'am.
Okay, great. So let's move on to the next question. Shall we move on to the next question?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure. Okay. Let's see the other question. So here it's like a directory D is having 5 files in it, and then another user U, it adds a new file F in this directory. So you have to mark the correct statement for the other files in D. Like if the addition of the new file will change the metadata of all the files, and what about their integrity and availability? Will they be affected or unaffected by the addition of a new file? So see, I have to make one announcement. This time I'm allowing to join, but from next session onwards, please try to join by 6:05 at maximum. We have already covered one question, so uh, this disturbs the flow, and you will not be able to follow, because at every time we are in the middle of the question and you are joining, so you will not be able to understand. Please try to join by 6 or 6:05. 6 is the time given by the by the NPTEL platform. So please be on time. It's my humble request to all of you. Attempt this question and put your answers in the chat box, whatever you think is correct. It can be single option or multiple option correct, that you have to analyze. So please give it a try. Similar kind of questions you will be seeing in your in your exam that you will take towards the end of this course for certification, and also in the assignments. So you can think of it like this. This is a directory that is D. It is already having 5 files: F1, F2, F3, F4, and F5. Now, the user U comes and he adds another file. This is added by the user U. So you have to take what option should be correct. Please put your answers in the chat box. D here stands for the directory and U stands for the user. Someone has attempted. Please try to be as interactive as possible. Then only we can understand the concepts correctly. Everyone, please give it a try. I can see only 1 or 2 person has put the answers in the chat box. I want all of you to participate. Yes, Josil, please tell. Josil, you have raised a hand. Any question? Ma'am, will you please share the questions discussed here in PDF? Definitely, I will share. Don't worry. Definitely, I will share the questions with you. Okay. So, the correct answer is option. Shall I discuss the answer, or you need more time?
We can discuss now.
Great. So the correct answer is option D. Why? What does the metadata of the file mean? What is the size of the file? What all other things can be there in the metadata?
Author of the file.
Author. Other than that?
Time, date, and everything. When is it updated?
Yes, author, time, when it was modified, detail, not the details of the modification, but the time when it was modified, not the content that was modified. That will not be your metadata, because that is the main content of the file. Also, there will be one more thing in this, that is the permissions that this file is having, whether someone else can edit it or not. Okay. So edit it, or write or read or access, that kind of information will also be included in the metadata. So let's say when a person has entered this new file F, this addition of the new file F is not in any way affecting any of the existing files, because it is not deleting their content, it is not adding anything extra to their existing contents. So that means no modification to the existing content is being done. So the metadata of the files in D remains unchanged. Hence, option A is in A will not be in the in our list of answers. And why the integrity of the file will remain unchanged? What is integrity? What is integrity?
The data
Any changes that,
Please speak one at a time. Please repeat.
accuracy of the data.
Accuracy of the data. Basically, you can say rather than accuracy, you can say the content, right? Whether the content is being modified or not. Okay, because this addition of the new file, it is in no way having the permission to read or access or delete their content. So the integrity of the remaining files is also not getting changed. So this is also ruled out. What about the availability?
Available for every time, ma'am. Maybe 24/7.
Yes, that is like the lexical meaning of availability. By availability means if someone is having access to this file, okay, unauthorized access to this file. So because the addition of this new file, it it is not having it, since it does not know what the permissions other files are having, right? Okay, it does not know their metadata, and it does not know who the author is. So in no way it is blocking the access or gaining access to the existing files in D. So their availability is also unaffected. Is it clear? So
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so the correct answer is option D. Any doubts to anyone? Please feel free to ask. So metadata includes the size of the file, author, date and time, permissions, what kind?
Permissions.
Yes, sorry.
Permissions, ma'am. Permissions.
Permissions, yes. What kind of permissions it is having, whether someone can access the content, read or write or modify, that is included in the metadata. And since this file is not, because this file just has been added, it's not the content of this file is appended to the content of some another file. This file is added as an independent chunk to this directory, so the metadata remains unchanged. Why integrity remains unchanged? Because there is no change modification of the data. And availability is also unchanged because no one is gaining unauthorized access or illegal access. As you have seen what is the definition of integrity and availability also. So the option is D, correct option. So moving on to the next question. So a web server is getting large number of HTTP GET requests at a constant rate from an attacker, due to which some other users are having issue in accessing the website. So what kind of attack is this, and what is the exact source that it is attacking? Whether it is memory, data, or the CPU cycles.
DOS and memory.
Oh, please don't answer like openly. Please put your answers in the chat box. Now that everyone knows the answer, they will not give an attempt to it. Okay. So since this person has already pointed out the correct answer, I will just simply explain it. It's DOS, denial of service attack, and it is attacking the memory. Why? Because here it is saying they are having issues in accessing the website. So we know like what happens in the denial of service attack. Denial of service name itself makes clear what happens. There is an attacker computer this is the service provider, let's say it's Google. So what it will do, or attacker can be a single person or it can be multiple persons. Let's say we consider uh, okay, let's consider we are having multiple here it is given that there is a single attacker here, so we will not consider more than one. What this attacker is doing, and this attacker is sending multiple requests to this Google server, that it needs information regarding a certain web page. Okay, let's say financial budget, it needs the information about, and it's sending requests at a constant rate. Let's say after every 0.5 seconds it's sending HTTP GET requests to the server, that is your Google server. What happens is this server is having a limited bandwidth. Okay, and limited bandwidth it is having, and there is like a limit how many requests it can serve at a given point of time, because this attacker, let's say it can only serve let's say the total memory is 100 gigabytes, and this attacker is constantly sending requests to it after every 0.5 seconds. So this memory gets full, and at a point when its memory get full, when the entire bandwidth of the server is occupied, now let's say some legitimate user comes and he also requests, let's say he wants to book a flight ticket, and now he requests, puts a get request to Google's server, because the entire bandwidth that was available to serve the requests is exhausted at the server of the Google. So the legitimate access, so the access to a legitimate user is blocked, and he cannot access the data or the server at that point of time. Why? Because the entire bandwidth memory of the server was occupied. Hence, this is known as the denial of service attack, and it targets the memory resource. Had there been multiple attackers, so it refers to the distributed denial of service attack. So, is it clear to all why denial of service and why memory is getting exploited in this case? I think it's covered in lecture 2 or 3, video lecture 2 or 3, if I'm not wrong. Is it clear to all?
Understood, ma'am.
Okay. Any doubt to anyone?
I have one question. Can I ask?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay, when we talk about this denial of service with HTTP GET, is it always memory or it could be even CPU also?
Mostly in the case of denial of service, it's regarding the memory, because it tries to block the entire bandwidth that is available at the server. So once the entire bandwidth that the server can serve at a given point of time, it gets blocked. Okay, so it's like it's occupying the entire memory that is available at the end of the server or the service provider, because of sending
Okay.
multiple requests. So it's the issue of the memory, not the CPU cycles. And if you see, it's sending the requests at a constant rate here. So every time the targeted source is memory in this case.
Okay, so CPU is nowhere in the picture, right? It is always memory when you talk about HTTP GET. Is it
Yeah,
so?
why? Because these get requests, they come with a certain chunk of the memory. They will, let's say I will pass this request to the server. This gets stored. If you remember, there is this transmission control block, right? Where this memory gets stored, and this will occupy some memory at the server, right? Let's say it's occupying uh, uh one kilobyte. It is occupying for one request, and if there are 100 or 1,000 such requests that are coming, then the entire memory of the server will be exhausted, right? Because every request, when it is sent to the server, it will have the transmission control block, where its header, what kind of fields that the request need to serve, what kind of data it needs from the server, that information will be stored here. So always the memory is attacked. Why? Because these requests are consuming memory in storing this information at the end of the server. So it will always be the memory. not the CPU cycles.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other doubt? Anyone? So let's move on to the next question. Just a second. Someone wants to join the session. It's my humble request to all of you. Next time, please join by 6 p.m. sharply. Because there is not enough time to repeat the content that we have already discussed for the past half hour. So please make sure, for your own sake, that you join the session in time. Please go ahead with this question. Mark your correct options, whatever you think is correct. Phishing attack is covered in social engineering lectures. Lecture 5 and 6, I think part 1 and part 2. Primarily part 2, where they were discussing the types of phishing attacks. So what the question says, a user of a bank named Best Bank, it receives the following email. The user is receiving the mail and the content of the mail is given here. And they have also sent one link requesting the user to submit their data, and if they wouldn't update the data, then their account can be deleted. So what type of an attack is this? Whether this is email phishing, wishing, spear phishing, or clone phishing. And please put your answers in the chat box. We'll discuss in 2 minutes. It is sent to the user of the bank. Be very careful. The answer is hidden in here only. To whom the mail is being sent. The user of the bank. So you have to identify the type of the phishing attack. What is phishing? What two words is it made up of? Hmm? Is there any such attack as email phishing? Hmm? So shall I start with the discussion? Or you need a minute to attempt?
Let's start the discussion.
Okay. So let me change the color of my pen. Just a second. So the correct answer is option C, where it is referred to as the spear phishing. Why? Let us see. Here it is saying that it is targeting the user of the bank. It is saying it is targeting the user of the bank, and we know in spear phishing the main thing is always a specific group of users is targeted. And what that specific group here is, that is the user of the bank. So it's not an email phishing attack, but a spear phishing attack. Why so how does this attack works is like they have sent the mail to the user saying that if he does not click on this data, this his account will be deleted from the bank. And if once he clicks on this link, because now that he has got the fear, if he does not click on this link, his account will be deleted. So his the attacker is trying to instill fear into the mind of the user, and under the impression of that fear, what the user is tempted to do, he will overlook the warning that it will he will overlook the warning whether it is an authenticated authentic mail or not. He will just simply click on this link and submit the details, and these details go to the attacker, and he will now be able to access the data of the user. So this is the spear phishing attack, where they target a specific group of the users, try to instill fear in them, saying if you do not do so and so, then an illegal a legal action or something will be will take place. Out of this fear, the user is tempted to click on the link or give their details, which eventually leads to them their data being stolen.
What exactly is clone phishing?
Clone phishing is see, what happens in clone phishing is it tries to create a clone means do you understand Hindi?
Yes, yes, please.
So clone is like, hum shakal kind of, right? The exact thing it will try to replicate. So let's say we have an authentic website, microsoft.com, ठीक है? And you have www.microsoft.com, or whatever mails you will get is from here only. But let's say because what in clone phishing they try to replicate the exact details of the authentic user, but it is they try to hide and they try to hide their malicious information in some form of this. So what I will do in a clone phishing, I will create an exact replica of this website because I want to steal the data of a user. So what I will do, I can the one way to do is this spelling error. Microsoft I will write, because a user in a hurry might not look whether R is missing or not. In this case, he will think that this is a legitimate website, and he will end up putting up his details, which will lead to the compromise of the security in this case. So clone phishing is trying to create a replica of the authenticate or the legitimate website, but in fact it will be illegitimate one, and then it tries to steal the data of the user and give an attack.
Yeah, okay.
That is mostly they will try to steal his login credentials or password details, bank details and stuff, right? Is it clear?
Yes, clear. Thanks.
Okay, okay. So any more doubt to anyone? Please ask. So as I had asked in the beginning, but I forgot to discuss, what is phishing. Phishing is like freaking 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 and then phishing. So first they try to scare the user, like he's here, they are trying to scare him. If you do not enter, your account will be deleted. So and as we know, as soon as we hand over the food to the fish, it opens its mouth and gets trapped, right? So because now it's feared, now we are saying we have also provided the food, that we are saying if you click on this link, then your account will not be deleted. The user is tempted to click. He does not know that this is a trap. He will open the user will open this link and then get trapped, just like the fish gets tempted by the food that it is sees stuck in the fishing rod and ends up getting itself trapped. Is it clear now what is the meaning of phishing, freaking and phishing? Guys, please respond. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
Okay. So I hope you are able to follow until now.
Can you give an example of email phishing?
I think I'll discuss it to you over email phishing would be like sending an email to some like email phishing is like not a specific group will be targeted here. What the specific group of the user is being targeted, only those users who are having an account in this particular bank. But an email phishing, this mail can go to any user irrespective of whether he is having an account in this bank or not.
In that case, can we consider spear phishing as a subset of email phishing?
Might be.
Okay.
You can please check on this whether it can be or can be not.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's shall we move forward? So next question is, what are the mitigation methods for phishing attacks? How mitigation is like, what are the preventive measures or the precautionary measures you can take to overcome or to handle the phishing attacks? So these are some options that have been given. So please try to take as maximum options that you think are possible and put your answers in the chat box. Mostly in the paper you have to think whether it's single option correct or multiple option correct. Here I will help you. It's multiple option correct, so more than one option can be correct here, but in the paper it will not be mentioned. You have to figure that thing on your own. Click jacking. Sorry, I'm not aware of what click jacking is. And in the question it had primarily focused on what kind of phishing attack is it. Maybe I'll get back to you on this question in the next session. Vikas V. Okay. Maybe I'll get back to you in the next session whether we can consider this as click jacking or not. Please everyone give an attempt to this question. I can't see the correct answer. Next time join sharply by 6. Half of the session has passed. So it's a multiple option correct. I will discuss in a minute. By that time, everyone please put your answers in the chat box. Sorry for the network issue. My screen is still visible to you? Just a second, I will share. I think it's not getting shared. Is it visible now?
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
it's visible.
Sorry for the network issue. So we were on this question 5, right? So I will just check the chat box. I think most of you have answered. So I can't see. I think the answers are lost due to the network issue. Anyways, I will discuss. So my screen is visible, guys, right? So the correct answer is option A and B. Here, antivirus and intrusion detection systems, these are the technical solutions. We know that phishing attacks come under the category of what kind of attacks? Can anyone tell? It is a subset of which kind of attacks? Hmm? Whether it's malicious software or social engineering attack?
Social engineering.
Why do you think so? Because it is dealing with the problems in the user interaction, right? Let's say the user is clicking some faulty links, which is leading to he's clicking some links that he should not click, right? And there is this kind of interaction happening. A mail is being received by a particular set of users, and they end up giving their details, right? Or over the phone, the someone calls and say, we are from so and so bank and we need your details. That is kind of a phone phishing attack. So it is primarily dealing with the user interaction, and it has less to do with the technical issues. That's why it comes under the category of social engineering. And here what happens is, if you know that antivirus can be used to detect the presence of a virus in a system, right? And intrusion detection systems, they are basically used to detect whether some intruder or outside attacker is there or not. So these both are the technical solutions, and you cannot rely on them for addressing the social attack issues. So why multi-factor authentication is helpful in this case? User education, we definitely know this will be very useful. Like, let's say someone over the phone phishing is one kind of attack, right? And as I gave you the previous let's discuss phone phishing first. So if some person calls from the bank saying, we are from so and so bank, and can you share your bank details, what is the bank account number, your password, and your bank balance, and all that stuff. If they ask over the phone, then users should be educated that such kind of sensitive information should not be given over the phones, right? So that is one thing, user education. And also, like as I gave you the example in the case of clone phishing, what happens is, user thinks, he is not being very cautious, like what website link he is clicking. The exact spelling should be Microsoft, but he's clicking on the websites in which Microsoft R is missing, and he's thinking that this is also a legitimate website. So he should be more careful, he should be educated. When you are clicking a particular link, you should thoroughly check whether the link is authentic or not, or to which person you are transmitting which kind of information, right? So that is one thing, user education will definitely help. And what in the case of multi-factor authentication? Let's say in Gmail you have seen, right? If you have enabled the two-factor authentication, what happens? If I'm entering the password on my laptop, immediately it will send a code to my linked phone saying that someone is trying to access the access your email account over this and this device, so can you please tell whether it's you or not. And when you click on the yes it's me, only then it will redirect you to the further pages. Have you all seen this? That is an example of two factor authentication, because once it is asking your password over the laptop, and then it will either send a code to your phone or it will ask over your phone whether someone is trying to access whether it's you or not. So how multi-factor authentication will help in case of phishing is, let's say you ended up compromising or giving your details to someone or to the attacker on entering the details by clicking the wrong link sent over to you in the mail. But if they want to transfer the money, they will send an OTP to your phone, right? Only then they will be able to get or transfer the data, transfer the money, or make some monetary transaction. At one point of time they can know the password to your bank account or your ATM pin, but not they will not be having the access to your phone, so they cannot know what OTP is being sent. So that is how multi-factor authentication will help in this case. Is it clear to all? This is a very common example that we
Yes,
see
ma'am.
now. Okay, this is very common when we see in daily life whenever we try to withdraw the money from the ATM or log in over a website, right? I hope all of us have encountered this, but now we know that this is one of the solutions to avoid the phishing attack. So here the correct answer is option A and B. I hope all are clear with the explanation. If any doubts, please feel free to ask.
There are cases wherein we have phishing links and they will be successful in having two-factor authentication also, right?
Yeah, that's why it is not saying here two factor, it says multi factor. It can be two or more than two. It depends on what kind of, how tight or how to what extent you want the privacy on your account. They will ask you for a
But mo-
recovery mail, phone number, and certain other things, OTPs and all.
but most of the financial transactions they end up with two-factor only, right? Not multi-factor.
Yeah, but I don't think most of them they have access to your mobile devices for getting the OTPs and all.
Mhm.
And as said,
Okay.
this is just
No,
one of the.
my what I am trying to think is like user education is one thing we can consider, but multi-factor authentication we cannot consider as a 100% solution to mitigation of phishing attacks, right?
Definitely, that's why I said it's just one of the solutions. I'm not saying this is the ultimate solution.
No, for example, if this question is there,
Mhm.
so uh, is it fine to select multi-factor authentication also as one of the solution?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I'm saying this is just one of the solutions. Definitely, there are loopholes in every one method or the other. But
Okay. Okay.
if it's like strictly mentioned under the category of single option correct, then go with the user education.
Okay.
Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So please give an attempt to this and put your answers in the chat box. C. Okay. Others, please give it a try. First of all, here you need to know what the link state routing algorithm is. Here they have given the definition as well. It exchanges the link states to all other routers in the network. The question itself gives a definition of link state routing algorithm. And now it says that in that path, there is a malicious router R that is inserting false connectivity to the few destinations from which the data packets needs to go through. And in this case, how can we prevent the data packet from being transferred into the wrong hands? Because the malicious router is trying to access some of the destination, or it is trying to change the desired destination from which the packet originated. So someone has said C, others also please give it a try. I will discuss in 2 minutes. Everyone, please give it a try. These kind of questions only will be available in your assignments, similar to these in your assignments and end term exam that you will take at the end of this course for certification. This and also these will help to gain the understanding of the concepts that we are seeing in the lectures. So it's necessary to give it a try at least once. Shall I begin with the discussion, or anyone still needs time to attempt? Please raise your hands, those who need time.
Let's discuss.
Okay. So here the correct answer is option C. First, I will discuss what the link state routing algorithm is. Let's say you are having 3 routers. A data packet comes. Let's say this is the source, and this packet needs to be transferred from R1 to R2. So what are the possible links by which this data packet can go? Please unmute yourself and discuss with me. Help me in solving this question. What are the 2 data paths to which this packet can go from R1 to R2?
R1 to R2 directly and R1, R3, R2.
Correct. So we are having 2 paths here, R1 to R3 to R2, as someone pointed out correctly. Why? Because the link state routing algorithm says it will exchange the link states. So what are all the available routers in the path from the source to the destination? All can participate in transferring the data packet from the source to the desired destination. So how, what will every router do? Every router, as we know, we have seen in this computer networks course also, every router has a routing table in which it stores the source and the destination information and the cost of the link that it has encountered until now. Okay, so for R3 the source will be R1 and the destination will be R2. But for R2, if we are taking the path R1 to R3 to R2, then for R2 the source will be R3 and the destination will be R2 itself. Clear how every router is maintaining its routing table? So what is encryption? In the case of the encryption, I try to encrypt the data that is sent from the sender using some intermediate code, so that if anyone on the path, if it tries to access the information, let's say here R3 is the malicious software, okay, through which the packet is going. It is the malicious software that is trying to alter the contents. Alter the contents, it is trying to change the destination to which this packet P should arrive at. So if I have already encrypted the data, it cannot, this R3 does not know what information is there, and it cannot modify the data. It cannot modify the data, as in it cannot modify the destination in which the data wants to go. Why? Because it is not having any means. For encryption, it needs to know the public and the private keys. If you know the concept of the cryptography, if the data is encrypted, it is present in a random form. The exact content is not available. The exact raw content or the exact authentic content is not available. It is encrypted and is present in a format that is not readable. So because of the encryption, you will not be able to edit the information, that is the destination information, and hence you cannot modify and prevent the malicious software from changing the destinations or inserting false connectivity to few destinations. Okay, and what happens in the message authentication is like, it also works like authentication is like, it will try to know whether the data has arrived at the correct destination or not. Let's say the packet originated from the sender, from R1, and now this message authentication should happen at R2. Like as we know, in the case of connection establishment, they send SYN and ACK requests. So when the final ACK, it is sending the SYN request for the start, then it is sending the SYN plus ACK, and then finally the client sent the ACK request. So here this kind of ACK that is finally sent, it acts like an authentication that the data has transferred from the source to the destination correctly. Hence message authentication also helps to uh, to limit the access to the malicious client and modify the data. So what exactly is the rule? It ensures that the data is not manipulated. Data is not manipulated on the path from sender to receiver. by any
So,
intermediate router. Yes, please go ahead with
okay,
your
so
query.
this message authentication code, does it work with three-way handshake in that sense?
The three-way handshake, I gave you the example so as to know how message authentication will prevent the data from access to an intermediate person. Just do not confuse this with this link state routing algorithms message authentication. Okay,
Yeah, okay, fine.
it's just trying to understand why the communication between should be there from the sender to the receiver, whether they receive the packet, why this authentication should be there, so that the data is not manipulated in between by some intermediate router and it went to some wrong destination. Okay, for that purpose I gave you this example. Please do not confuse yourself with this. Encryption will prevent reading, accessing the data, and message authentication ensures that the data is not manipulated and arrives at the correct destination. Pardon for the writing, but I hope it's still readable. So, clear to all? Correct answer is option C in this case. Any doubts? Are you guys there?
So this message authentication code ensures integrity, right? And what else it does?
You can say it kind of ensures integrity. It's kind of preventing the access to the manipulation. Yes, so you can say it can kind of ensures integrity.
Okay, and what else it does?
So here we want to prevent the access by the malicious router, right? So this will help us to prevent in case of exchange of information. For further
Okay.
information, I think you can refer to either the lecture notes or some internet blog.
Actually, message authentication code is something like your message will be passed through a function, message authentication function, and it will be generated with a message authentication code. To generate that code, we will be using a specific key. Nobody else will be aware of that one. That is how we'll be achieving integrity.
But this passing of the message to the function is mostly in case of encryption and not in the case of message authentication.
No, basically at the sender itself, both will be happening. Like message authentication will be there, for which encryption will be performed. That is how we'll be doing signature and all.
So, is it clear to the person who has raised this doubt?
Yeah, yeah, it's clear. Thanks.
Yeah. So, moving forward to the next question, please attempt this one. This can be single option or multiple option correct. Please give a try to this question. Easy one, very easy question. Easiest question, one of the easiest questions in this assignment. Please give it a try, all of you, and put your answers in the chat box. So I'll give you a little hint. This is multiple option correct. And second hint is the total bandwidth of the channel is 100 Mbps. That these routers A, B, and C, these are transferring the traffic to destination D, and P, Q, R, they are amplifying the traffic that is being generated by the factors of 10, 20, and 5. And the total bandwidth that you need to have here is 100 Mbps. And these are all the malicious clients, A, B, C. Anyone able to get any answer? The target of these malicious clients is to generate 100 Mbps at the target T from the reflectors P, Q, and R, where P, Q, and R, they are amplifying the traffic received from A, B, C by the factors of 10, 20, and 5 times. So the bandwidth at T should be exactly this, not less, not more. Anybody having any idea how to solve? Looks toughest. Okay. Krishnanu has tried to answer. Anybody else? Do you need a minute more? Anyone still trying to attempt, or shall I discuss?
I think let's discuss.
Okay. So already I gave you the hint. I think the hint was easy enough to decode. You can just assume the traffic sent from here as X, this as Y, and this as Z. So the entire equation that becomes now to generate 100 Mbps at T. When this X pass to X will be amplified, means it will be multiplied by 10 times. 10x plus 20y plus 5z. This should be exactly equals to 100 Mbps. Why? Because these malicious clients, they are generating traffic at T, and they want to generate how much bandwidth at T? 100 Mbps. So just solve this equation. Let me take a new slide for clearer explanation. So Our equation was 10x plus 20y plus 5z equals to 100. Now we don't know how to solve this equation. I will take the help of the options. And I want to generate exactly 100 Mbps. That is my target of the malicious clients. So first option says 1, 4 and 2. Let's put, so here x is 1, y is 2, y is 4 and z is 2. So let's put these values. 10 into 1 plus 4 into 20 plus 2 into 5. How much value? 10 plus 80 plus 10. 100. Option A is correct. How many of you agree? This might be the toughest, but if you take the help of the options, then it is the easiest. I already decoded the question for you. How many of you agree with this? It is correct. No one is answering. Are you guys understanding?
Yeah, it looks correct with first option.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am, we are understanding.
Yes, please try to respond so that I know that you are able to follow. If you're not able to follow, then I'll try to explain again.
This would be the difference.
Sorry? Could you please repeat your question? I cannot hear you. Okay. Going for option B where it says 5, 2 and 2. Let's try to substitute these values as well. Where x is 5, y is 2 and z is also 2. Z. So let's try to substitute. 10 into 5 plus 20 into 2 plus 5 into 2. So this is 50, 40 and 10. Again 100. Correct? Let's go for option C. 1, 1 and 5. Option C is 1, 1 and 5. So how it will be? 10 into 1 plus 20 into 1 plus 5 into 5. That is 20, 10 plus 20, 30 and 25, 55. Not equal to 100. So this is wrong. Why? Because I want to generate exact 100 Mbps at the target T as mentioned in the question. So going with the option D, 2, 2 and 10. 2, 2 and 10. So 10 into 2 plus 20 into 2 plus 5 into 10. So this is 20, 40, that is 60 plus 50, 110. Again, not equal to 100. So this is also not the correct. So correct answer in this case is option A and B. Clear to all?
Yes.
Shall I explain again? You just need to draw this diagram. Here the key is in decoding the question. Rest all is simple, substituting the options. That's why I said always try to think whatever option you are marking, why do you think it is correct? We can always take the help of the options. In case this is a subjective question, if you still leave here it at this point after decoding, you will still get stepwise marks. Shall I explain once again?
Go with
No,
next
it's okay.
question.
Okay, great. Next question is here. Give it a try. Please put your answers in the chat box. Just focus here. It's single option correct. It's easy question. Please give it a try, all of you. I am expecting answers from all of you in this question. He wants to erase all the data once he leaves the organization. Most of you have answered correctly, as I can see. It is a logic bomb because erasing the data comes under the category of logic bomb only. Answer is option A. Nothing to explain much. Clear to all? Definition based question. So, what follows next is kind of subjective questions. These are taken from the reference book Goodrich and Tamassia Introduction to Computer Security. This book has also been listed in your set of reference books. If you are able to solve the questions to this Introduction to Computer Security by Goodrich, Michael Goodrich, and Tamassia. This is one of the questions from that, and we'll try to attempt it. Just kind of try to think how this is just a definition based question. You can easily answer it. Just give it a try with all the attacks that you have covered in the lecture. Just think with which definition it can go with. So someone is emailing him for the account information whose balance has just gone over $10,000. Some online banking software is emailing him. Just now we saw similar kind of question. Also, in this case, also you can put your answers in the chat box. So phishing attack is fine, but what can be the broader category of it? I discussed this also. What could be the broader category of it?
Your screen is not visible.
Yeah, just a second. I think it got it stopped sharing. Just give me a minute. Give me a minute, guys, please. Hold on. So, can you see it now? Can you see it now?
Yeah, it's visible now.
Okay. So, someone is mailing him. It can be, see, someone said that it is a kind of a phishing attack. But what happens in a phishing attack? It does not have a secret feature, only that the link is not authentic, or it is a malicious link, right? In the case of phishing attack, right? It is a malicious link. But if you see the definition of this question, what it says, the author of a online banking software system, he has programmed a secret feature. That secret feature is hidden. This secret feature is hidden in the mail that is sent to the victim. So whenever some kind of information is hidden in a message that is being sent to the victim for proposing an attack, that comes under the category of Trojan horse. This is a very famous Greek story in like they portrayed a wooden horse in front of their enemies, so, and the enemies thought it is a toy, but inside it there were multiple soldiers and the cartridges were there on and when the enemies thought it's just a toy, we can allow it to move outside the boundary, the persons to whom the horse belonged, na, they launched an attack on their enemy and then they won. So this kind of information is hidden. This is a secret information that is hidden in the mail. It's not just the malicious link. There is no such link that is mentioned here. It says the programmer has hidden some secret feature, and as soon as the user opens this mail, some malware gets installed into his system, and it can access the entire information that the attacker needs and provide the attacker with the information he wanted from the victim. So what is the answer in this case? Trojan horse. Is it clear? Have I explained it to you why the name Trojan horse is given? So this is the Trojan horse attack. Clear to all?
Yeah, it's clear, but why can't it be logic bomb? Because it could be, it's one kind of logic, right?
It's kind of a logic, but you do not know, right, what kind of logic is this, whether it will erase your data or not, or what functionality will be there. It just says there is a secret feature.
Okay, fine. Thanks.
Yeah. In case these kind of questions, you should not think that these are not objective questions, so we need not practice this. These can be converted into objective questions, right? So please, we should focus always on improvising our concepts. Though I think you will be encountering most of the objective based questions, but your focus should main focus should be on understanding the concepts. So moving on to the next question. So English language has information content of 1.25 bits per character. We know one character is how many? One character is how many bytes?
1 byte.
One byte is equals to how many bits?
8.
8 bits. This is the only logic, and one formula is there. If you know, you can perform this question. Please give it one attempt. I will erase this. I already gave you a little hint. One formula is there. You try to apply and get the answer. I will discuss the detailed solution. Do not worry, but I want to see your approach once to this. Maybe if you cannot put your answer, be ready with your approach, and once after 2 minutes, you can discuss what approach you think should be applicable to this question. Just a second, someone wants to join the session. I think we can't see your screen. It's visible now, right?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, please give an attempt to this question.
Is it 6.75?
Yeah, sorry for the mistake. It should be 6.75. It should be 6.75. I will discuss this shortly. Please give it a try from your end. So some information has been given and we are to compute that the arrays in which the information being transmitted, it corresponds to the English text or not. And how much content information English language needs per character is 1.25 bits. So this information you can use. Discuss in 2 minutes. Please give it a try. Shall we start with the discussion? I can't see any response.
Yes, let's start.
Okay. See, so what we can do here is, see, it says for English content per character, it needs 1.25 bits per character, right? This is the information given. So, what it is saying, we want to compute also we know one character will occupy 1 byte and 1 byte will take up 8 bits, right? These are two information that we know already. So now it asks random array is having how many bytes? T bytes. What is the probability it belongs to English? So a random array having T bytes, how many bits it will take up? Tell.
T into 8.
Huh?
T into 8.
Oh, a random array. It will take a T into 8 as this person said. And how many such arrays I can have that are of T bytes? Let me insert a slide. Number of T-sized byte arrays that I can have is how many? Let's say it's capital T and this is small t. How many such arrays can I have? Two to the power 8 times t, that is 2 to the power 8t. As he said, a random array one random array can take up the memory as 8 into t. Who is this? Who wants to? Rishabh Raj. Please join by 6 p.m. from next session onwards. The session is about to end now. So number of how many t-sized byte arrays I can have. That is, let's say it's capital T. So total arrays that I can have is 2 to the power 8 into t. And we know if this array, number of arrays, if they should belong to English language, then how many bytes it should occupy? Tell. One T sized byte array is taking up 8 bits, right? And if it needs to belong to English language, instead of 8 bits per character, how many bits it should take? 1.25, right? Power t. And now I want to calculate the number of arrays that belong to English upon total. So that will be 2 to the power 1.25 t over 2 to the power 8t, that is equals to 2 to the power minus 6.75 t. This is the answer here. Every bit, if you have 2 bits, how many possible combinations you can have with 1 and 0? How many what happened? Just a second. If you have just 2 bits, how many patterns you can represent with 2 bits? Bit 1 and bit 2, where every bit can
Four.
take 2 values. So we can take up 4 values, right? So let's say with 8 bits, how many values I can take up? 2 to the power 8, right? Is it right?
Yes.
And we are saying that here we are having t-sized byte arrays. So each one of them, if one t-sized byte array is taking up 2 to the power 8, this is, we are talking about one array, and we are having t such arrays. So it will be 2 to the power 8 in the power t for any random character. Now, as of now, we do not know what language it belongs to. It's just for character. But here in the question it says if it should belong to English language, then it should take 1.25 bits per character, right? So what I did, instead of writing 8 here for one character, because it's an English character, I wrote 1.25, right? And this is still in power t. So now I am calculating number of arrays that belong to the English language upon the total number of arrays that are of arbitrary character. So this is 2 to the power 1.25t over 2 to the power 8t, and according to the rule of exponents, if the base is same and it goes upwards, so it will be go up with the minus sign, and since 1.25 is less, so it will be minus 6.75. Is it clear to all? If there are any doubts, please ask. Is it clear? Please respond.
Yes, clear.
Okay. Next question is also very similar. I think now you can give it a try. You have little idea now. We are having 32-bit key length. So how many characters or how many patterns I can generate with 32 bits?
2 power 32.
Correct. This is the starting hint. I hope now you can be able to solve this question. Again, you are to estimate the probability of uniquely recovering, and the different values of t are given. This is very similar to the previous question. If you have understood, you will be able to solve this question to a great extent. And again, they are taking, like, they want to encrypt the messages written in English text. So earlier we have seen whether if the probability that the array of t size byte it should belong to English, how much probability it was taking? 2 to the power minus, this was the probability it was taking, right? So you can use, I have given you all the necessary hints. You are just to put them into the right place and fix it. Give it a try once. We'll discuss it in 2 minutes. What is brute force? Brute force exhaustive search method. Anyone familiar with this?
Trying all possible ways.
Yes. So we already know how many possible ways are there.
So it's 2 power 8 by 2 power 32, something like that.
Yes, please, you are very near to the solution. Please give it a try. Already gave you all the necessary hints that are needed to solve this question.
So basically, you're saying ciphertext is of t bytes, in which case we'll be having t into 8 bits ciphertext. So number of possible options with that will be 2 power 8 into t. Denominator will be having 2 power 32.
Yes. It will not be 2 to the power. Can you repeat your approach again?
No, ciphertext is 2 power 8
Yes.
power again t.
Yes.
That will be possibilities of ciphertext.
Mm-hmm.
And you are saying 32-bit key length,
Yes.
in which case you are going to have output of 32-bit, right?
Yes.
So all possibilities will be 2 power 32.
Yes. इतना तो हम सॉल्व कर चुके हैं ना प्रीवियस क्वेश्चन में कि किसी टी साइज बाइट अरे को अगर इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज को बिलोंग करना है तो उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी कितनी होनी चाहिए 2 पावर -6.75 है ना. ऑल कैन अंडरस्टैंड हिंदी राइट.
Yeah.
या सो सी हमने अभी पिछले क्वेश्चन में देखा कोई भी अरे अगर इंग्लिश लैंग्वेज को बिलोंग करे लेट्स से इट्स ऑफ टी बाइट्स तो उसकी प्रोबेबिलिटी कितनी निकल के आई थी 2 पावर -6.75 इंटू टी. और टोटल मेरे पास कितने कॉम्बिनेशंस कीज के जनरेट हो सकते हैं इफ आई एम यूजिंग कीज दैट आर 32 बिट इन लेंथ दैट इज 2 पावर 32 राइट. अब ये तो एक की के लिए था है ना क्योंकि इसने क्या बोला एक की का लेंथ इतना है 32 बिट का और हर की को हम हर की में कितने कैरेक्टर हो सकते हैं वो उनकी इंग्लिश को बिलोंग करने की प्रोबेबिलिटी कितनी होगी इंटू 2 टू द पावर -6.75 टी राइट. तो हमें पता है अगर एक्सपोनेंट्स कर रहे हैं बेस सेम है तो पावर्स ऐड हो जाएंगी तो ये क्या हो जाएगा 2 टू द पावर 32 -6.75 इंटू टी है ना. अब क्या करना है यहाँ पे उसने हमें टी की अलग अलग वैल्यूज दे रखी हैं. हमने ऐसे समझा कि हमारे पास टोटल पॉसिबल कॉम्बिनेशंस फॉर वन की जहाँ पे की बिट्स में कितने पैटर्न्स हो सकते थे 32 बिट्स हो सकते थे. तो टोटल पॉसिबल कॉम्बिनेशंस एक की के लिए आए कितने 2 टू द पावर 32 और एक की में मल्टीपल कैरेक्टर्स होंगे है ना एंड देयर प्रोबेबिलिटी ऑफ बिलोंगिंग टू इंग्लिश कितनी निकल के आई थी 2 टू द पावर -6.75 टी. अब उसने बोला कि अगर एक बारी में टी की वैल्यू 8 ले लूं तो कैसे हम इसको कर पाएंगे? एक की के लिए कितने उसके लिए अगर इंग्लिश को बिलोंग कर रही है तो हमने इसको 2 to the power 32 minus 6.75 into t, 2 to the power 32 minus 6.75 into t. अब अगर एक बार ही t को तुमने 8 पुट कर दिया यहाँ पे तो 32 minus 6.75 into 8. This value will be nearly 32, 8 6 are 48, and definitely it will be more than 48. So this value will come out something in 2 to the power something negative. So it will be a fractional value, right? Less than 1. And in case this value is less than 1, you will be able to recover all the plain texts. So the key only thing that was left here was for you to recognize whether in any case this value will be more than 1 or less than 1. In case this value is less than 1, you can't be able to recover the plain text. And in case this value, in case this value is less than 1, you can be able to recover the plain text. In case this value comes out to be less than 1, you can recover the plain text, and in case it is greater than 1, then you can't recover. Okay, so even for t equals to 8, this is yielding me value less than 1, so in this case I'll be able to recover. And similarly you can check for t equals to 512 and 64 as well. In every case you will have this value of the resultant.
How come the probability will be greater than 1?
Sorry,
How come the probability value greater than 1?
I didn't say it will be greater than 1. I'm saying it will be less than 1.
No, there is no question of the value being greater than 1, right?
Yeah, sorry. If it is equal to 1, pardon.
Okay.
In case it is equal to 1. Okay?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. In case it is equal to 1, you will not be able to recover the plain text. But if it is less than 1, then in case of brute force generation, you will be able to recover the plain text. Is it clear to all? Please respond.
How many such types of questions will be there in exam?
That I can't tell. You are asking in terms of subjective and objective, or these kind of numerical questions?
This kind of numerical questions.
They can be as many as the wish of the instructor when he's setting the paper. This is like NP hard problem. How can I tell?
Okay.
Yeah. So we have left close to 3 minutes left. Shall I start with a new question?
What is the pattern of the final paper?
Ma'am, that I think you will be given instructions. Mostly it will be objective questions. Some of them can be subjective as well. As the type of the questions that you are encountering in your assignments, so more or less they will be along the similar lines. And regarding this, whether there will be any subjective questions or not, I will get back to you in the next week. I'll also confirm with the course instructor and the authorities whether they have updated the pattern or not. Okay, and we'll let you know if there will be any subjective. Definitely there will be objective questions, single option correct, multiple option correct. But regarding subjective, I will let you know in your next session.
Also, could you please record the sessions and send it across?
Yes, so Tasmia is your name, right? I'll be uploading the tutorial recordings on my YouTube channel, and the link of which I can share now. Though I have not updated my channel with this session, I'll upload it by tomorrow morning, this video, and you can access it on this channel. I will share the channel link with you. Just a second. You'll be getting all the videos on this channel. Anyways, the NPTEL authorities will be giving you the channel link, and I will share the PPT as well as the recording in your discussion forum for the starting week, and for the further sessions the recordings will be available at this very channel. Okay, the PPTs will also be shared with the solutions. My writing was legible to you, readable enough in today's session? Can anyone unmute and tell? Fine, then I'll upload the PPT and with the solutions itself, so you can refer for, and some of the questions we might not have covered, you can try to attempt them. Since the time was limited, it's already 8, so you can try to attempt them. In case you encounter any error or any issue in solving those questions, drop me a mail at this ID I'm sharing in the chat box, so I will be handling your queries over there. And keep the subject as NPTEL doubt session 1. Yeah. Feel free to drop a mail at this in case you have any doubts. So thank you all for today joining today's session. Hope to see you in the next session as well in large numbers. I hope it helps you in I hope it helped you in understanding the concepts that you have covered during the video lecture.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye. The recordings will be made available soon along with the slides. Thank you all.